What's a visit to New York City without gate crashing Brian Kelly's fast money? So like I said, I decided to crash Brian Kelly's Fast Money show. I've got the man right here. Brian, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, Ran.
What a great show. What a great energy levels you guys have got.
It's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, yeah?
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. It's a great group of people. We get to talk stocks all the time, and now we even get to talk Bitcoin quite a bit.
You see, that's the thing. I was listening to what you guys were talking about. It was very little crypto and a lot of stocks.
Yeah.
That must kill you.
So I could talk crypto all day long, so I would love to talk more about it. But here's what's kind of interesting, because we're talking about stocks, but a lot of people are trading crypto and stocks together, right? It's not separate. So, back in the 90s when I was coming up as a trader, everybody was day trading the internet stocks. I think everybody's trading crypto now. That's where the marginal dollar is going.
Well, someone told me that you can't actually say you're running a balanced portfolio of crypto, because it's actually a balanced portfolio must have couple of percent of crypto. Right.
Well, I think so, right? And if you even took 1 or 2% of crypto, allocation of crypto, you would actually increase your returns and lower the volatility of your whole portfolio, because it's not correlated. So it's like a golden asset. You want to have this thing in your portfolio.
But after what happened on Black Friday, everyone's taking the majority of their money and putting the majority of their money into crypto, or wants to take the majority of their money and put it into crypto.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Black Friday. What the hell happened?
So, it's funny. There were a couple different things that I think were the driver. One, you had this report that came out that a lot of the more Bitcoin than people expected had been lost. Number two, you had a lot of retail buying, right? So I think, just anecdotally from everybody I talked to, they were all sitting around telling their relatives to buy Bitcoin, and they finally listened, right? We've been telling our relatives for years to buy Bitcoin. I think finally everybody took it to heart today. And if you look at the price of Bitcoin, and I showed that chart on tonight's show, you saw Bitcoin and Ethereum, the price go down during the Thanksgiving hours and then just take off on Friday morning. So I think it was a lot of money coming into the system.
So the price went down when everyone was at home eating turkey. And then the price went up because everyone told their grandmothers to open accounts.
Exactly.
I'd love to take your graph and put a Coinbase number of accounts opened
just
after.
I bet you there's a great correlation between it, for sure.
So Mike Novogratz came on and he started to speak about the percentage of people's wealth that should be in crypto.
Yeah.
So what's your take? Currently, where we are today?
I think 1 to 5%, depending on your risk tolerance, where you are, I think is an appropriate number. I mean, this is still a new technology. This is still an emerging market, so it's not going to be without risk. And let's think about it. Bitcoin is at roughly 10,000, 9,600 as we speak. Bitcoin could drop by 50% and still be up on the year, still be up massively on the year, right? So you got to understand, it's extremely volatile, new technology. 1 to 5% is not a bad allocation.
So, but 1 to 5% can become 10 or 20% very quickly. Then what do? Do you take money off the table and put it back into non-crypto related, or do you take your 1 to 5 that has become 10 and leave it in?
Do you let it ride?
You let it ride.
Depends if you're a gambler or not. I think it would be prudent to take some off the table and use it for something else, use it for savings, that type of thing. Just like any part of your portfolio where if it gets too big, you want to trim a little bit. So that's what I would do. When
was the last time you took money off the table from your personal portfolio?
Let's see. Relatively recently. From my personal portfolio, probably about a month or so ago, not necessarily in Bitcoin and some other coins that I own, I took some off the table. I tend to be more active in my personal portfolio with other coins, kind of the altcoins, than I do necessarily with Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Taking money off the table, do you think that we've had a very big spike now and we can expect to see some kind of profit taking? Everywhere I go, people are telling me about Bitcoin. That's the first sign of what they call a bubble. Now, I'm not going to use the word bubble because I think it's too premature to call it a bubble. But I mean, do you think it's time to maybe take some money off, keep it in cash, and wait for some kind of correction?
Sure. Yeah, listen, I mean, this is a market just like anything else. So Bitcoin is not immune from that human fear and greed. We will have multiple bubbles. We will have multiple crashes through this period of time. So, a prudent trade would be you sell into the spikes and you buy the dips. That's hard to do, and that's why a lot of people have a hard time trading. But when it feels horrible, That's usually the best trade. So I know when I'm selling Bitcoin and it feels terrible like I shouldn't do it, that's the best time. And when I'm buying Bitcoin and I can feel it on my stomach and I want to throw up on my shoes, that's the best time to buy Bitcoin.
That's such an amazing analogy, because for me, when I feel like I want to buy because I'm getting FOMO because it's going up, that's usually the time to sell.
That's the time to sell.
Let's talk about altcoins and what's going on in the altcoin market. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and all those coins flying through the roof.
Yeah.
But I'm holding a lot of ICO stocks, that are ICO tokens that I bought, that aren't doing anything. Do you have those in your portfolio?
I have a couple of those. We've pulled back quite a bit from ICOs recently, primarily because of performance, primarily because the massive amount of supply that's out there. Of some of them are quite junky. You know, they're 9-page white papers of a couple people with maybe a great idea that want to raise $50 million. Valuations don't make sense. You know, there are a lot of them out there that are sitting there. As long as you bought into them, knowing that is going to be a longer-term type of thing, there's a good project and a good team, and they're solving a real-world problem, nothing wrong with holding on to them, waiting for them to pay off.
Because I find it very depressing when I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is I check the app, and it shows me the Bitcoin price and the Ethereum price and the Dash price, and then I go into CoinMarketCap and I start to look for those small cap ICO tokens, and they're in negative territory. And it's like the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah. So, I mean, well, here's the thing, is that for the first 9 months of the year, what worked to make money was to buy in those smaller ones, right? Those were the ones that were ripping. You'd wake up and they'd be up 30% and you feel like you were the greatest trader of all time. And that really changed end of September into October for sure, when we came into when everybody was buying Bitcoin for the fork. The market really changed right then. So we might be going through a period of time where the market's maturing.
Bitcoin Gold, is it a thing?
Bitcoin Gold, you know, I don't know yet. I think there's something to be said for ASIC-resistant coins. I think there's something to be said for decentralizing mining. I don't know if Bitcoin Gold is the one that's going to get that done.
But it is the fifth biggest cryptocurrency today.
Well, it is the
by
fifth,
market cap.
yes, right. I mean, but if I forked it and called it Bitcoin BK, I'd have the sixth biggest one, right?
That's not a bad idea. Let's do it.
I should, exactly.
Brian, top 3 predictions for 2018, and I'm not asking you about the top performing cryptos. I'm asking you, what can we expect to see in the market in 2018? What are you looking forward to in 2018?
I think number one, the biggest thing is you're going to see major institutions announce that they have allocated to cryptocurrencies.
That would be great. That would be great news.
More than just the macro funds, more than people buying futures, I think you see an endowment or something like that allocate some portion to it. I think number two, I would say, if you look at some of the stocks that we're seeing out there, so Square and Overstock, I think other companies, public companies, are going to catch on to this trend and announce, hey, we've got a blockchain trial, or we're getting into Bitcoin, or we're doing this, whatever it is, because they see the stock price go up. And that happened during the 90s. I mean, I remember when people would announce, hey, we have a website, and all of a sudden the stock would rip. Doesn't mean they're doing anything with it, but I would expect in 2018 you see a lot more stocks go up because of Bitcoin.
I remember in 1998, I was a stockbroker, and Starbucks announced that they were becoming an internet company and using their stores to create internet communities. And their stock jumped up 9% on that day, on the day of the announcement. Your third prediction for 2018?
Do I have a third prediction for 2018?
Regulation. Let's talk about regulation.
Yeah, I think there will be likely some kind of lawsuit or enforcement action by the SEC, by the US SEC on, I'm not sure, but I would suspect a high-profile ICO.
Bitcoin price at the end of 2018, Mike Novogratz said $40,000. Yeah. What's Brian Kelly saying?
Yeah, you know, I can't disagree with him. Listen, I think that a 4x from here is not unusual for Bitcoin. That wouldn't be so bad.
It could be a disappointing year at 4x.
Yeah, at 4x, right?
We've had 4x in the last couple of months, so 4x for us in the crypto market.
Right, so it sounds crazy going, oh, it's going to be at 40,000, but it's not that much in this market, and it's not an outrageous forecast when you consider that would roughly get us to $1 trillion market cap, which would still be only a small percentage of gold. It'd be 1% of all the financial assets in the world. It's a tiny amount. We're not making crazy pronouncements here. So I think 40 grand is a good number.
Brian Kelly, thank you so much.
Always good to see you, my friend.
Yeah.